Hey everyone, welcome back to Decision Making English. I'm Zach, and today we're talking about making choices in everyday life and at work, in clear, simple language, with real stories and useful phrases you can use right away.
And I'm Emily. If you enjoy learning through stories and natural conversation, make sure you subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. New listeners, we're happy you're here. Regulars, it's good to see you again.
So, why focus on decisions? Because choosing is a daily habit. What to cook, how to spend money, when to say yes or no. You'll hear us use the word trade-off. That means you gain something, but you also give up something else. Quick story. Last year, I had to choose between two apartments. One was cheaper but far from work. The other was close but more expensive. My trade-off was clear. Save money and spend more time commuting, or pay more and save time and energy.
I remember that. What did you end up choosing, and what helped you decide? Was there a moment when you felt, okay, this is the right call?
I wrote a short list of criteria, the things that mattered most. I prioritized sleep and morning energy because I'm useless after a long commute. I told my friend, here's my recommendation, I'll take the closer place. It cost more, but I used it more. More time for exercise and cooking. That choice still feels right.
That reminds me of a product meeting at my job. We had to launch a small feature. Our constraint was time, and our stakeholders wanted results by Friday. We faced a trade-off: release a basic version now, or wait 2 weeks for a polished one. I said, given our constraints, I recommend a simple version today, then improve next sprint. It kept momentum and reduced stress. By the way, prioritize means choose what is most important first. In both of our stories, we picked one thing to protect: your energy, my deadline, and let the other parts adjust around it.
Quick recap. Decisions are daily. A trade-off is a give and take. Criteria are your rules for choosing, and prioritize means put the most important thing first. Think of one decision you made this week. What was your number one criterion?
Here's what to expect today. We'll weigh pros and cons, ask for input politely, and make clear recommendations. You'll hear short, real dialogues and simple phrases that fit real life, not just textbooks.
If this sounds helpful, hit subscribe and share this episode with a friend who also struggles with choices. Drop a comment about one decision you're facing this week. We read those and might include it in a future episode.
Speaking of choices, later we'll do a quick role play, ordering lunch for a teen with a tight budget. It's a fun way to hear trade-offs in action: taste, cost, and time.
One small tip before we dive in. Pause and ask, what am I optimizing for? Optimize just means improve for one main goal. When you name the goal, the choice gets clearer, and the stress usually drops a little.
All right, let's get started. Take a breath, think of your next decision, and come along with us. We'll move step by step, and by the end, you'll have simple language and a calmer way to choose.
Let's spotlight 4 words you'll hear all the time when people make choices: trade-off, priority, criteria, and constraints. A trade-off is the give and take. A priority is what matters most. Good criteria are your rules for choosing. Constraints are the limits you can't change.
Quick story. Last winter, I tried to start a morning run routine. Great idea, until I had a new project and late-night calls. My priority became sleep. I wrote 2 criteria on a sticky note: wake up clear, stay kind to people. My constraint was my schedule. Calls ended at midnight. The trade-off was obvious: run less often, but keep my energy and mood. I told myself, 3 runs a week, not 5. And it actually helped me make better choices all day.
So sleep moved to the top of your list. Was that a non-negotiable for you? Something you refused to sacrifice? And did calling it a priority make it easier to ignore the guilt of skipping a run?
Exactly. Non-negotiable just means I won't trade this away. Once I named it, my brain relaxed. The criteria did the heavy lifting. If I felt foggy, I chose rest. If I felt sharp, I ran. Same goal, fewer arguments in my head.
That reminds me of a sprint at work. Our constraint was time, a 2-day deadline. Budget was tight too. We set 3 criteria: no bugs that block users, clear onboarding text, and load time under 2 seconds. I told my manager, given our constraints, I recommend shipping a lean version now, then iterating next week. The trade-off was polish versus speed, and we chose speed because the priority was learning from real users.
Speaking of that, when I planned a small wedding, we faced a classic triangle: venue size, price, and date. Our constraints were budget and my grandmother's travel window. Our criteria: accessible location, natural light for photos, and a calm vibe. I made a short list and scored each place from 1 to 5. The priority became family comfort first, so we picked the smaller hall. Upside: beautiful photos and no stress. Downside: fewer guests, but that trade-off felt right.
Quick recap. A priority guides you. Criteria measure your options. Constraints set the boundaries. And a trade-off is what you give to get. If you're stuck, name one constraint out loud. Often the best choice appears when the limits are clear.
Here's a tiny tool: a scorecard. Pick 3 criteria and weight them. Weight just means give more importance. For example, 50% comfort, 30% cost, 20% looks. I used that for a new chair. My back loved me, even if my wallet didn't.
I do a rule of 3. Whether I'm buying a laptop or planning a trip, I choose 3 criteria max. For my last laptop, I told the salesperson, battery life first, then keyboard feel, then price. That order made the trade-offs simple.
Before we move on, ask yourself, what's your non-negotiable this week? Name 1 priority, 2 criteria, and 1 constraint. That's your decision map. In the next part, we'll talk about asking for input politely so you get better options without losing your voice.
Let's dig into phrases people actually use when weighing pros and cons. My go-to opener is, I'm leaning toward X. It shows a preference, not a final choice. Then I add, on the plus side, and on the downside, so everyone sees the trade-off clearly.
At work last month, our team debated office days. I started with, given our timeline, I'm leaning toward 3 days. Then I asked, from your perspective, what are the upsides? Do you see any downsides? That pulled in views I hadn't considered, like daycare drop-offs and quiet focus time.
I had a similar moment choosing between a used car and a train pass. I told my partner, the benefit of the car is flexibility. The risk is surprise repairs. The benefit of the train is lower cost. The risk is delays. Then, based on that, I'm leaning toward the pass. What are your thoughts? It turned the debate into a calm exchange.
When someone is quiet, I invite them gently. I'd love your read on this. Anything I'm missing? Sometimes I add, how does this land with you? Land here means how it feels to you. That tiny question often reveals a hidden constraint or a fresh idea.
Paraphrasing keeps things kind. I'll say, so I'm hearing that cost matters more than speed. Did I get that right? If they agree, I bridge to action. Given that, a small step could be a basic version now, then improvements next week. People relax when they feel understood.
Quick micro roleplay. Ordering lunch for a team. What matters most, speed, price, or variety? Then, on the plus side, sandwiches are fast. The downside is fewer veggie options. Could we live with that today? If not, what's a simple alternative? Clear, polite, and nobody feels ignored.
Mini recap. Phrases that help. I'm leaning toward, on the plus side, on the downside. From your perspective, do you see any downsides? Did I get that right? And, given that, they make decision talks calmer and more collaborative.
For messages, I like tidy subject lines. Decision, office days, leaning toward 3. Pros, focus. Cons, commute. Input by Wednesday? It's short, shows the trade-off, and invites clear responses without long back and forth.
Up next, we'll move from weighing options to making a recommendation that people can support. Like, I'd recommend X because Y, unless Z happens. Simple, respectful, and it closes the loop without sounding pushy. Okay, let's move from weighing options to making a recommendation. I like soft openings. I'd recommend X, or we could try Y. That little could keeps the door open.
Last quarter, our support team was drowning in emails. I proposed I'd recommend a 2-hour triage block each morning, then added, unless urgent tickets spike. I explained the benefit, faster first replies, less stress by noon. People nodded. It sounded cautious, not bossy, and it named the upside. We agreed to review the data after 1 week.
When someone pushes back, I soften the edge. Would it help if we test this for a week? Or what would make this workable for you? Questions like these lower pressure and invite input.
And I anchor my suggestion with a reason. Because the queue spikes at 9, I recommend the triage block at 8:30 so that we hit the peak ready. Reason plus outcome makes the message clear and calm.
Yesterday, our office wanted a fancy coffee machine. Finance worried about cost. I said, given the budget, I suggest a rental for 1 month, unless quality drops. Then I added, next step, I'll compare 2 vendors and share options by Thursday.
Quick word check. To hedge means to soften a statement, not hide it. We might start with a pilot, sounds flexible and honest. Pilot just means a small test with low risk.
I also like a simple frame. Because X, I recommend Y, unless Z. For example, because support volume is rising, I recommend a triage block, unless urgent incidents explode.
To close the loop, name owner and time. Next step, I can draft the note today. Could you confirm budget by noon? Tiny details like owner and deadline turn a soft suggestion into action.
Quick recap. Hedge with could or might. Add a clear because. Invite input with gentle questions. Then set a next step with an owner and time. That's polite, decisive, easy to follow.
Speaking of that, next we'll drop into a workplace scene and turn a careful recommendation into a decision everyone supports. Simple language, small steps, and momentum.
Let's drop into a real meeting. Monday sync, deadline Friday, 2 options on the table. Polish the dashboard or ship basic metrics now. I said, I'm leaning toward the basic version. On the plus side, we learn fast. On the downside, it's less pretty. Given our constraints, client demo Thursday, what are your thoughts?
Our designer worried about errors. I mirrored, so accuracy is your priority. Did I get that right? Then I asked a quiet teammate, anything I'm missing? He flagged an API limit, hidden constraint. We reset criteria. No blocking bugs, clear labels, fast load.
With that, I made a soft recommendation. Because the demo can't move, I recommend shipping the basic metrics today, unless the API rate drops. Heads nodded. I closed the loop. Next step, I'll assemble the list, Priya checks labels by 3, and Tom watches the API.
Small note. Assemble just means put together, and close the loop means confirm owners and times so nothing is floating. The meeting stayed calm, we went live, and later we iterated, added color and tooltips once the risk was lower.
Daily life. Groceries. My trade-off was price versus time. Cook after work or order delivery. I told myself, plus side, delivery saves an hour. Downside, fees add up. I asked my partner, given our budget cap, what would make this workable?
We use a simple scorecard on the fridge. For busy weeks, the priority is energy. So, 2 delivery nights, 2 quick cook nights. I hedged it. We could try this for 1 week, unless it blows the budget. Flexible, not strict.
It worked. And a quick word, budget cap means the limit you won't cross. We also added a fallback plan, eggs and rice, so hunger wouldn't force bad choices. Fallback plan is a backup if the first idea fails.
One more work scene. Our lead wanted a fancy tool. I said, given security constraints, I suggest a short pilot, unless legal flags a risk. Then, what would you need to feel comfortable? He asked for a data map. I owned it and set Friday.
Notice the pattern. Name the trade-off, invite input, hedge the recommendation, give a reason, and set next steps. When feelings run high, I paraphrase. So speed matters more than polish, right? That line lowers tension and keeps people on the same team.
Quick recap. I'm leaning toward, on the plus side, on the downside, given our constraints. Would it help if we test this? Because X, I recommend Y, unless Z. And next step, owner plus time. Simple words, strong choices. Next, we'll wrap with a short checklist.
Before we close, let's pull the threads together. Today, we used a simple path. Name the trade-off, set your priorities, choose clear criteria, and accept the constraints you can't change. That path keeps choices calm and honest.
Think of this as your decision toolkit. 1. Say what matters most. 2. List 2 or 3 criteria. 3. Check the limits. Time, money, rules. 4. Make a soft recommendation and invite input. Small steps, strong choices.
And keep the frame handy. Because X, I recommend Y, unless Z. Then close the loop with owner and time. Next step, I'll do A today. Could you confirm B by noon? It turns talk into action.
Quick real-life win. My phone died last month. Repair or replace? My priority was reliability. Criteria: battery health, camera, and total cost. Constraint: travel in 5 days. I told the clerk, I'm leaning toward a basic model now, unless the repair is cheap and fast. We checked the numbers, and I walked out with the simple phone. 0 drama.
What tipped it for you? Price or time? I'm guessing the travel deadline was the real driver.
Exactly. Time was the decider. After a week, I did a quick debrief. That word means a short review. Result? No regrets, photos looked fine, and I saved energy I would have spent worrying.
Here's a simple practice plan for this week. Pick one real decision, even a small one. Write 1 constraint and 2 criteria. Say out loud, I'm leaning toward... Ask one person, anything I'm missing? After you decide, do a 2-minute debrief. Keep, change, or drop.
Add a tiny scorecard if it helps. Weight your criteria, like 50% comfort, 30% cost, 20% speed. Weight just means give more importance. It keeps your head clear when emotions run high.
And if you feel stuck, zoom out. Ask, what am I optimizing for right now? Peace, speed, or savings? Naming the target reduces noise. One clear goal is better than 5 fuzzy ones.
Share one decision you're making this week in the comments with your priority and constraint. We read those, and your ideas often help someone else who's facing the same choice.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this episode helped you choose with more calm, tap subscribe and send it to a friend who overthinks decisions. Your support keeps this show going.
Next time, we'll talk about handling regret and course correcting without beating yourself up. Until then, breathe, choose one priority, and take the next small step. You've got this.